Hello, it's me, Alexis, and I want to talk about dysregulation this morning. So you know how smooth a lake gets right before the dawn? Imagine that calm water is the center of your body. And now imagine when we're calm, that's the image what others see and feel in our presence. That beautiful little calm lake or river. But how about conflict? How do we deal with conflict? Just recall how conflict feels inside of our bodies. When we meet someone who doesn't agree with our opinions, who acts unfair, who defends their truths against ours, they hurl insults, they betray us, or they set up surprise boundaries, how does that feel? How does it feel when someone we meet doesn't like us? So feel that. Think about how that feels. Do you feel pressure rising inside of your chest as the charge begins to build? It might happen too fast for you to notice. I know it sure as hell did for me. But it happens with lightning speed after years of successful practice. So you might have to find a way to slow down time a little there. If we've been practicing discharging our pent-up charges, soon we might not even be aware of what we're doing or saying. It just is a matter of time. And as our emotions rise, our inner body of water rises. And in that very little bit of time, we begin letting go of the built-up charges by trying to explain our choices, protecting our honor, defending our beliefs, admitting some failures, denying possibilities, or retaliating for vengeance or for someone else's honor. And within moments, our calm internal river is a raging current, and it's billowing over the edges and engulfing and drowning everyone around us. Even our children and our beloved mates can become the target of our charge. We express our deep feelings, our fears, our hates, our suspicions on whoever will listen to us. We spew out that rage with unmet goals, our lost dreams, our worst nightmares. Instead of experiencing our own feelings like we're meant to, we unload that discharge, or we unload that charge onto others, and we don't take responsibility for our own feelings. We give that discomfort away in a rush. And in doing things this way, we hurt the people that we love. We harm them, sometimes long term. This is called dysregulation. What is dysregulation? Dysregulation is a gentle word for losing our shit. It's the equivalent to a tantrum, but it's done by an adult. Dysregulation is when the body floods with a feeling or lots of feelings, and additional feelings come crashing in on top of that from underneath, above, and below, and the sides. We feel a need to survive our experience and cope in the best way that we can, and that's impatiently. Soon the mind sends hormones, and we have this desperate urge that overcomes the thoughts to take care of things, and we just think that we have to take care of it now, right? And that's how our ancestors have been doing things. That's how the military does things. It's how the police do things. That's why George Floyd, I think his name was held down for so long. They wanted completion, and they wanted it done now. So yeah, it's impatience. We open up our mouths and we eject our fears. We defend our assumed rights. We criticize with vengeance to silence the other person, to end that struggle with what's going on within us. And we don't like to feel. That's a hard one. With C-PTSD, we don't like to feel because we were never regulated during our childhoods. We weren't given role models who exhibited healthy behaviors. When we were in breakdown, no one came. We were left to cry it out in our childhoods, never coming to lessons learned, never seeing consequences, never getting closure. In our times of need, in our youngest years, when we express desires for our needs to be met, we were met with silence, discord, and sometimes confusion, and sometimes punishment. We had to lean on ourselves for regulation, and because we didn't know how to do that without anyone role modeling it for us, we coped. How do I notice if I'm getting dysregulated? Well, you'll notice after you start practicing grounding strategies, because you need to know what it feels like to be in your body to compare it to when you're dysregulated. So you practice grounding techniques like taking slow breaths and noticing your surroundings. Say things like, I'm safe, the year is 2022 and I'm 49 years old, and hug yourself. Dig your feet into the ground, into the grass, touch the areas around you, feel. Can you see? Can you taste anything? Can you hear something? Notice your surroundings. Focus on your breath for a while. Dysregulation is felt in your body. First, you may feel your shoulders and your jaw begin to tense. Maybe your shoulders rise. Maybe there's a movement sensation like vibration in your arms and your legs. Maybe your fingers and hands start to flex. Getting to know your feelings can help. If you can find a feelings wheel to identify what feelings you're feeling,
recognize your triggers and label your feelings and recognize your emotions. Once you name them,
start taming them. Usually dysregulation begins when someone nearby says something that's contradictory to our truth, it casts accusation or blame, or it offers unrequested advice that sounds critical. An urgent need to get our feelings heard is a red flag. We are going into dysregulation. What causes C-PTSD? Well, the very people who are supposed to provide safety and nurture made our childhoods challenging and unsafe. During our childhoods, 0 through 7, we were programming our basic life program. Our own life program is personally created and crafted by us in our youth. Kind of strange to have that set up, but it's the way it is. It's the foundation for our futures, and it was created as we perceived our caregivers' behavior patterns. Chaos and negligence will one day weave our adult attachment and parenting styles. Something we have to be aware of, and something maybe we have to overcome. As we log familial patterns, coping strategies, and behaviors from our role models, we're witnessing and recording the events from our childhood to create a template for our future lives. And with this template, we fashion what belongs and what doesn't belong in our adult lives. So keep in mind, our parents weren't monsters. They were just emotionally illiterate. They didn't know they were dysregulated, nor did they know that their behaviors during dysregulation would cause damage to their children's minds. Most likely their parents exhibited dysregulation in their childhoods, and they're ignorantly passing it down. Well, to hell with generational trauma, man. It stops with me and my family, okay? So remember, since we were young, we've been coping to survive, and our traumas have been shaping our C-PTSD. In chaotic or empty homes, we weren't ever allowed to express our truths with our parents. We were not allowed to say no. It was beaten out of us, silenced, or shamed from us long ago. The ability to say no is, we're terrified to do it because we know that we'll get punished. Our needs were not paramount to our parents' wants. We were left to cry for our needs to be met far longer than we should have, and our parents were busy with their lives trying to keep the bills paid, attempting to keep a semblance of what they thought love was like. And some were even instructed by their doctors to parent this way. Let them cry it out. It's good for them. It won't harm them. They were unaware of the damage that they created in their child by needing to stay busy all the time. What happens when we're triggered? When others show behaviors that threaten our livelihoods, our minds go back to the time long ago where we were forced to cope in a hostile or unsafe environment. Instantly, our vagus nerve detects danger and it's agitated. Our nervous system
gets this hint, gets the system, I can't think of the word. Our nervous system gets
the notification that it needs to kick on high gear, and then we're right into survival. Survival is a pressing need to explain or excuse ourselves, our choices or dislikes. This one is fawning. This is where you're ass kissing. You're making up excuses and you're trying to keep everything calm. 2 is a demanding need to charge ahead and scream obscenities, frighten the other person, threaten, attack, defend physically or verbally. This is the fight behavior of survival. And then needing to run away, number 3. Hide, explode into a mass of tears and sobs in solitude. This is the flight response of the survival mode of our brains, of our bodies. During dysregulation, we let those emotions loose, unlike any time permitted during our youths. And that's us with C-PTSD. And while discharging it, it feels relieving. We feel that negative charge leave our body. And we have to either own up to our lack of control and unleashing our abuse, or deny that it ever even happened. And that creates a whole new charge inside of us, building up. So take note. When we exhibit dysregulated behaviors, we manipulate those in our presence. We assault them. We hurt their ears with our shouting. We attack their egos with our accusations. We demand, cajole, and threaten to get our needs met immediately. And that makes those in our vicinity shift into survival mode too. And they may take our charge and try to cope with it. So they might dysregulate also. We're their role model, right? They may drop down into fight, flight, or fawn and match our charge, and then they may volley back with an attack of dysregulated behaviors, especially our children, especially as they get older and they get sick and tired of our bullshit. They know they don't deserve to carry our emotional charge. They feel a need to survive out our attack, and if they're feeling bold and strong enough, they'll fight for survival. And if this happens, your house is going to be heard for like a 3 to 5 block radius, right? I know mine has. Most people with C-PTSD are completely unaware that these unhealthy behaviors, like ranting and discharging, if those behaviors have been working all this time, historically we'll just see that as life. We will also be completely ignorant to the waves that we create in our loved ones' lives and appear not to even care to them. Our first apologies, those will be met with relief. But as we continue to have to apologize for losing our shit, our loved ones lose hope and trust in us. In a child, this could be the breaking point of a relationship. A child who's not connected to their parent feels like they've done something wrong. They internalize and personalize abuse. They turn it inward and start chanting mantras like, I'm a bad child, I'm spoiled rotten, I'm so stupid, if I was a good kid, they wouldn't do this anymore. These mantras are what are the running program for our child in their adult lives. So, this is important. As parents entrusted with the lives of the future, it's our responsibility to regulate our emotions and role model behaviors and speech that we want our children exhibiting to others and to us. With the support of a therapist or a trained professional, this can happen. We can get through this. This isn't a terminal illness. What does dysregulation look and feel like? Well, it looks hot and bothered. It's tense. It's defensive. It's loud, explosive, impatient, hurtful. It looks like a temper tantrum. It feels like our bodies are out of control. We begin flooding with hormones and overwhelming feelings. We may feel wrongly accused, betrayed, ashamed, or simply just disgruntled. And at the point of triggering dysregulation, our fists curl up into balls sometimes. Tightness forms in our chest, neck, and jaw clenches up. Our feet and hands and chest may tingle, and the backs of our legs could start flexing instinctively, getting ready to run. Contrary to religious teaching, we are animals of prey and predators in the animal kingdom. We have animal-like behaviors that we cannot disown simply because we believe we're at the top of the food chain, okay? Feelings are proof of life, emotions are written in DNA, and survival is instinct. Survival is learned during those beta years, the 0 through 7. Humans are literally wired to preserve their lives, to protect their organs. Depending on the severity of our childhood home life, some of us fight for survival more than others. What it looks like on the outside to everyone else, it looks like we're out of control, freaking out, and we're entitled, demanding our wants and needs to be met. Think of Karen.
Not a Christian!
You know, like those videos that you see on YouTube, right? What can I do when I realize that I've been dysregulated? Well, all right, I'm speaking from experience here. Remove yourself from the room. Try saying to everyone in the room, excuse me, I'm feeling overwhelmed with whatever feeling it is. Then name that feeling. And then leave the room and go feel it alone. That's hard. We'll want to stay and disperse our built-up energy. We'll feel like we have to do something now or else. But our feelings are our own, and we should never blow out our overwhelm onto others unless they've agreed upon it, like a therapist, you know? Patience is a virtue. Where you choose to go to feel is completely up to you, but you need a space where you'll feel safe, where you can feel this overload of emotions and express them freely. If you need to sit in a friend's car to listen to the music super loud, ask them and go do it. If you need to sit in the dark to breathe, go do that. If you need to paint a mural about how bad you feel inside, grab the paints and get moving. Don't unleash these feelings out onto others. These are your feelings. You need to remove yourself to release the extra charge. Otherwise, you're going to personally harm others, either verbally, mentally, or physically, or all of the above when you discharge and all of your overload onto them. Note, children will take a bout of dysregulation from an authority figure and assume all accountability for it. They will believe that they are the bad person who's responsible for the adult's outbursts. That's called parentification. Don't allow yourself to do this. This is taking your feelings and making your child responsible for them. These are your feelings, not your child's. Your child deserves to have a child life. While in our private space, we sit with our feelings, and over there's going to be this overwhelming need and desire to get up and take care of whatever it is out there swiftly, like our parents and caregivers did. Tell this part to take a rest, take a break. There's no hurry. We need to return our brains to a healthy social state before returning to that relationship and talking to anyone. Inside of our body, our vagus nerve has activated the whole nervous system for survival. The endocrine system dumps a hormone concoction into the blood to assist. The organs get shut off from the blood supply, and the cardiovascular system engages the heart to pump more blood, the lungs to chug more oxygen, and the blood to circulate to our arms and legs only for fight and flight. Okay? We can't make important decisions. We can't make any life changes. We can't solve any giant mysteries. Our logical mind is shut off. The hippocampus isn't even engaging with the frontal lobes. We are in survival. We feel like we have to discharge this energy to feel better, but in reality, we have to disengage. What are things that we can do when we are dysregulated? Retreat. Find safety for your loved ones' sakes. Breathe. Feel. Get curious to those feelings, not furious. Release the need to know and solve your problems. Just instead feel those intense feelings through. You don't need to connect the dots. It's okay. Don't judge those feelings. They're just feelings. Let them pass over, just as we allow the clouds in the sky. Watch your thoughts just float by. Watch your feelings move on past. Be the observer, not the reactor. How will I know it's working? Doing this is really hard. The first few flexes of self-control muscles feel like there's nothing happening at all. After trying for an extended time, it may still feel like nothing's working, but it is. Hang on. Keep at it. It is working. After flexing, stepping away, feeling your overwhelm elsewhere, processing your feelings, time and time again, the muscle begins to get stronger. You can start to regulate your emotions better. And soon the day comes where we can step away from triggering circumstances and just go work it out instead of having a Karen-like episode happen out on our loved ones. Sorry to any Karens out there. It's not about you. But good is regulating our emotions. While learning to regulate our emotions ends the cycles of trauma. We don't want trauma in our children's lives. No longer will our loved ones be terrorized into survival by our dysregulation cycles. No longer will our children be forced to cope in our presence. No longer will our mates feel anxiety when expressing their needs or when needing to speak about difficult topics. The people we love won't shrink when they tell us no anymore. They'll feel safe and understood with us. Will I always be this way? It feels like it, doesn't it? But healing dysregulation is possible. Healing C-PTSD is possible too. A life of healthy mind and body is possible with dedication and vulnerability. Having a happy home life is attainable. Just work at it one flex at a time and keep those inner waters calm. Soon our children and loved ones will hopefully mimic our role modeling, and then we can all begin living securely with our loved ones. Our children can grow up confident, regulated, and functioning successfully in loving, caring relationships when they become adults. Isn't that what we want for them? Oh, bonus. Our children will never accept unhealthy relationships as normal. That will spare them of future heartbreak and traumas caused by dysregulating adults and mates. May you be gifted with this information. May you be free from trauma bonds, enmeshment, parentification, abuses, dysregulation, and manipulations. And may all your needs be met. May you heal, and may you thrive. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I've had a lot of fun with you. I hope that you've had a good time too, and please like and subscribe, share with your friends. This is some good information, and this has been hard learning. I'm the Dolly Mama. See, smell, taste everything if you can. Taste something. Let's try that again. How do I notice I'm being dysregulated? Well, you'll need to begin practicing grounding strategies first, because you need to know what you feel like in your body to compare it to when you're dysregulated. Practice taking slow breaths and notice your surroundings. Say something like, I feel safe, or the year is 2022 and I'm such and such years old. Hug yourself while you do it. Tap. Dig your feet into the ground. Touch the area around you, like the couch. Feel the fabric. Feel the smoothness of the wood on the table. Where am I? Smell the air. What can you smell? We have our child home, and depending on the severity of our, when you choose to go to feel, note, children will take a bout of children, okay, let's try that again. Get curious and breathe. Why, what, be well.